Hi, I'm Amy Titus and welcome to Herbal Awakening with Amy. On this video, we're going to talk about how to change your life with plants. Let's get started. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. On this video, we're going to discuss how to completely change your life using herbs. I'm so excited about this because it's very personal to me. My life has been completely elevated and evolved just by using plants in my daily life. And there are so many things to learn and know about how to use plant medicine. And it's something that I really love to share. There are a couple different tips I'd like to get to you today, so let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that we have to remember is to respect plants as medicine. Herbs and medicinal plants are wildly powerful. They were used as the first medicine on this planet, and so many of the pharmaceutical drugs that we see in drugstores today are based on the chemical compounds of plants. They're amazing, and they hold the power of life and death within their structure. So it's just really important to remember this is serious stuff, and while it can absolutely elevate and change your life, it can also, if you're using the wrong plant for your chemical makeup, can have some negative effects, and we always want to stay away from that. When we're dealing with the right plant, our body inherently knows how to break down and integrate its energy. It's my belief that the right plant can support your journey back to wellness from any disease. This being said, I would be so remiss not to mention to you again right now that plant and herbal medicine is serious business and can be life-threatening. Just in the same way that you would not walk into a pharmacy, pick up random drugs and start popping them, you have to make sure that the herbal medicine that you are taking is right for your chemical makeup. Taking the wrong herb for you can have seriously detrimental effects to your health. Everything from low blood pressure, issues with digestion, adrenal fatigue. It can get really real really fast, which is why it's so important that when you're starting your herbal journey or when you're experimenting or playing with new herbs, you make sure that those herbs do not have any kind of counterindications with herbs or medication that you're currently taking, and that these herbs are generally considered safe for everyone to use. It's really important, y'all. Legitimately. Seriously, y'all. For real. And if you're unsure, work with an herbalist who can look at your medical history, look at your allergies, look at the medication that you're taking, and help you select the perfect herb for you. Respecting plants is the very first step into allowing plant and herbal medicine to integrate and fully change your life. Now that we've put a little RESPECT on it, the next step is identifying the symptom or the problem that you're seeking plant support for. Some things that people use plant medicine for are bacterial and viral infections, immune support, adrenal fatigue, anxiety, depression, sleep issues, joint care, inflammation. The list goes on and on and on. I'm actually going to do a deep dive into a lot of these symptoms and issues and discuss different herbs that can help on your journey back to wellness. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in learning more how to use plants for these specific issues. I personally suffered with sleep and insomnia for the better part of my life. I was the kind of person that would wake up 5 to 10 times a night, and I thought that everybody was experiencing that. And I remember doing it even just as a little girl. I would just wake up all the time, and of course I was tired and I was cranky and I was irritable and all different kinds of symptoms that come from not getting enough sleep. And it wasn't really until I was about 20 that I realized that other people were not experiencing that, and that there was a way that I could integrate plant medicine so that I could fully sleep and wake up and feel rested. So for our purposes today, we're going to talk about sleep and insomnia. So on this journey to use plants to change our lives, we have established a deep and profound respect for plants. We've identified the issue or symptom that we want to resolve with plant and herbal medicine. And now we're going to research safe, gentle, and effective herbs to heal our bodies with. This is my absolute favorite part, and this is how I fell in love with plant and herbal medicine. There are so many resources when it comes to plant and herbal medicine. You can grab a reference book, you can hop online, you can head over to your local conservatory and talk to an herbalist there. The list really is endless, and there's so many beautiful, wonderful resources if you want to educate yourself on plant and herbal medicine. Another wonderful resource is a holistic networking group. Here in Indianapolis, we have the Indie Holistic Hub, and it's filled with amazing, wonderful holistic practitioners whose heart-centered mission to help people really is just so inspiring to me personally. And wherever you are, I'm sure there's a holistic networking group that you can plug into and find the perfect herbalist or homeopath for you. Okay, so here's a really fun fact. Because of the wild complexity of the human body and the absolutely amazing complexity of herbal and plant medicine, not all herbs are going to interact with different people in the same way. And this is something that I've definitely learned from experience. Depending on where you are in your life, hormonally, energetically, emotionally, physically, not all plants are going to work for you the same way every single time that you use them. So an herb that I used 6 months ago when I was nice and calm and relaxed and chill, everything was going pretty well, I was eating really well, I was exercising, is certainly not going to affect my body the same way now if I'm not exercising, maybe not eating as well, I'm under a ton of stress, I'm not sleeping as well. Depending on what's going on in our bodies, these herbs are going to interact with us differently, and it's so important to keep that in mind as we're using these awesome resources. This right here, this is the reason why I beg people to use an herbal journal. What is an herbal journal, you ask? I would love to tell you. An herbal journal is a documentation of all of the different herbs and supplements that you're using, when you're using them, how much of them you're using, the effect that you're getting, and any other details that you want to describe out. I mean, you can include things like if you're a woman, where you are in your menstrual cycle, where you are hormonally, how much sleep you've gotten, the moon cycle, anything that you're noticing in your environment around you that's affecting you as a person, write it down in your herbal journal. It takes so much of the guesswork out of using herbs when you're using them for a specific person. If I'm having, if I want to do some liver detox and I want to start incorporating a little bit of dandelion root, I can refer back to my page on dandelion root, and I can look at where I am now versus where I was the last time or the last several times that I've used it, and I can gauge what my experience is going to be. It's amazing. Same thing with Damiano, which is a very beautiful, powerfully energetic plant that integrates with my body really well and helps me with things like my mood, my energy, my sleep patterns. It's absolutely phenomenal for me personally, but how I experienced it 3 months ago could be very different than how I experience it right now. So if I go back and look at what I was experiencing the last time that I used it, I can really get a good picture of what I can expect now. And then when I take it, I can fine tune my dosage up or down depending on my experience. It's just a really great, conscientious way to use herbs with our body to get the optimal benefit, because there really isn't much more disappointing in this kind of journey than not using herbs appropriately or having unmanaged expectations and then being disappointed and then feeling like, oh, well, this herb doesn't work for me or that kind of herb doesn't work for me, when really we just have to be a little bit more careful, cautious, and precise about how we're experiencing and how we're using these herbs. And because I love you so much, I'm actually going to include a template of my absolute favorite herbal journal right here in the description. So all you have to do is print one out for each of the herbs that you're trying so that you can start your journey off on the perfect foot. All right, y'all, so we are respecting plants as powerful medicine. We're identifying the issue or symptom that we're wanting plant support with. We are researching safe plants and herbs to heal our bodies with. And now we're going to feel into choosing our plan. I love this aspect, and this is very unique to me and my experience because I like to listen to my intuition. I like to feel things out energetically. There's all this information that is coming at us from every angle and every dimension possible. And all we have to do is kind of tune into it. And we can inherently know what's going to be best for our bodies. So for our purposes, we're dealing with sleep and insomnia. So here's a chart of some safe, wonderful, beautiful herbs that people can use for insomnia and sleep. Okay, so now we're gonna feel into choosing our plan. And by feel, I mean use your intuition, use that gut, use that inherent knowing of what is going to be best for your body. After we've done our research of all the safe herbs, we are gonna write down any options that we have, look at that list, and we can read about where the plant originates, what are the chemical compounds of this plant, look at pictures of the plant and see if it resonates with us in that way. There's so many different ways to simply observe the plant and see how it makes us feel. See if we get that hit of yes or no or I don't know, and keep moving through your list and make little check marks on the different plants that are a maybe or a yes for you. Once you've used your intuition in this way, go ahead, hop back online, get back to your reference book, and look at each individual yes that you have, and then get still. In this world, we're racing from one thing to another, but where the magic really lies when you're making decisions for yourself is in that still place where your mind is quiet, and sometimes your body is quiet too. You're just sitting and absorbing and really connecting with your highest self. And answers will come to you in such an amazing way. Meditation is great for this. Simply being mindful is great for this. Whatever is best for you is absolutely perfect. So it's really safe to really play with this experience. Again, the good news is because of the work that we've done on the front end, all of these choices that we have are safe, and so there really isn't a wrong selection for you. One of the things that I learned on my journey to get some really good sleep support, and I tried a lot of different herbs, is that because of my constitution, I have a constitution that leans towards being depressed. It's very important for me not to use things that are really sedative, because that actually can contribute to my depression in waking life, and that's certainly not something that I want. I definitely want to be put down at night, but when I wake up, I don't want to feel groggy, I don't want to feel lethargic, I don't want to feel mentally slow or energetically heavy. And so I really had to go through and work and find the best herb for me. And you do that, like we've talked about in other videos, by going low and slow and using a low dosage or a low serving size of whatever herb that you're using right off the bat, and then slowly working up over the course of a couple weeks. This can take a long time to get to get to the desired effect, but it's so worth it, because someone like me who's a little bit more sensitive, if I would have just taken the largest recommended dose, I might have really thrown myself off chemically, and then would have had to spend a lot of time getting my body back in balance. And then at the end of the day, if I was new to herbalism and I wasn't expecting that, that might kind of put me off using herbs in the future, and that's not what we want at all. So again, whenever you're starting with a new herb, start low and slow and work your way up. And I'm going to put some more information about that in the description box below. All right, so for the purposes of this example and my sleep issues, I'm going to use hops and I'm going to use lavender. And if you know anything about me at all, my favorite way to take herbal and plant medicine is by making a tea infusion. Our very next step is actually sourcing our plant material. Where are we going to find this? And there are so many different methods of use when it comes to herbs. You can get a supplement by going to your local health food store or jumping online and buying from a verifiable, legitimate source. You can buy herbs from a herbal apothecary that you have in your neighborhood or community, or online. You can grow your own herbs, or you can go to a farmer's market, get your herbs and dry them. Really, again, is endless, it's beautiful, it's infinite. You can do whatever you want, as long as you're sourcing from a legitimate, safe source And I always recommend using organic because there's only so many ways that we can control how our herbs have been grown and harvested and stored. And so generally when you see that organic, certified organic label, or if you are close with your farmer at your farmer's market and they tell you, yeah, we're using organic practices, that's like the absolute best thing to do, because you know that that person has taken care and consideration to make sure that none of the herbs or plants that you're using have toxic materials that have been put on them and absorbed into them. Especially when we're using plants and herbs for healing, it's just so important to use organic, because the last thing that we want to do when we're trying to heal our bodies and bring it back into balance is to add more toxic and damaging chemicals. Just don't do it. Just say no. And again, if you're new to this, definitely hit up your local health food store. Definitely find a local herbalist that can really guide you and direct you to finding the best herbs for your purposes. All right, guys. So the very last step is trying your herb. And we've kind of already gotten into this, but let's reiterate what I was talking about when I was telling you that when you're trying your herb for your first time, you're gonna wanna start low and you're gonna wanna work your way up to your desired benefit and effect. Plants are so amazing and the human body is so amazing. And so just in the same way that when a baby is first starting to try new foods, you integrate slowly simple foods in small amounts and you work your way up to more complex foods, you're kind of going to do the same way and give yourself the same kind of care when you're trying new herbs. You're going to start at a low dosage and then you're going to use that dosage for a week. See where you're at. See if you want more benefits. Because it can take a little time for the plant medicine to integrate into your body and for your body to turn on to this new chemical that it's being introduced to. It can be a slower process, but it can also be a much more gentle, much more intuitive process for your body to handle. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to treat our body with care, respect, kindness, and be gentle with it as we're guiding it towards its own natural healing process. Even though some herbs can take a week or two for you to feel the effects of, depending on what you're using, it can happen immediately. I know for me, when I first started taking Damiana for mood support and energy support, it was absolutely immediate. And I will tell you that I took way too much my first experience, and I felt a little bit jittery. And it was just way too much. And I could tell that, okay, you know what? And even someone who is more experienced at taking herbs like I am can make that mistake of just, you're putting some powder in and oops, you just put a little too much and then you just go with it. And then your afternoon is a little bit out of balance. So just remember, be very cautious and careful when you're measuring out or taking your herbs for the very first time. But some herbs, the effect are immediate. Some take a little bit longer to integrate. It really depends on what the herb is doing in your body, what your benefits and the symptoms that you want help with are, and the herbal medicine that you're looking at. Something like sleep or something like energy or mood support can happen fairly quickly. If you're looking for something like help with inflammation or arthritis or indigestion, or a digestive issue or like an ulcer, those things are going to take a little bit longer because you're actually healing something. Getting a boost of energy or a boost of mood is something that can happen pretty quickly neurologically. But when you're trying to heal inflammation in your body, when you're trying to heal an ulcer in your stomach, for example, the damage has been done over a period of time. And so you have to give herbs the opportunity to get your body back in balance so that your body can heal itself. And that's what we're doing here when we're working with herbs. We're allowing our body to get back into balance so that it can heal itself. There are so many discussions out there on using herbs to change your life and integrating plant and herbal medicine to do this, and that. But the very first step is, how do we do that? How do we start to take these beautiful beings that are all around us in every capacity and on every continent with different medicinal benefits and really take the first step into allowing their presence and their energy into our life for deep healing? And that's what we talked about in today's video. Step number 1, we're going to respect the heck out of these plants as powerful, powerful medicine. We're going to number 2, identify the issue or problem within ourselves that we are seeking plant support for. This can be anything from bacterial infections to generalized pain, inflammation, depression, anxiety, or sleep, like the example that I gave today. Don't forget that I am going to do a deep dive into a lot of these different issues and go into specific plants and their uses for these things, so stay tuned for that. Number 3, we're going to research safe plants and herbs to heal our bodies with. We're going to do this by grabbing a reference book, hopping online to a legitimate, reliable source, working with an herbalist or a homeopath. So many different ways we can research and get some good information. This is where we're also going to use our herbal journal. And don't forget, I gave you a little present. A link to an herbal journal template is in the description. Number 4, we're going to feel into choosing our plant. Our body already knows what it needs, y'all. It already knows. It's like your wise favorite aunt who you take a problem to her and she already knows the answer. She already knows, but she's going to let you work through it and find the solution yourself. Your body already knows what you need. All you need to do is feel into your intuition, feel into that inner knowing, and choose the right plant for you. And like we've already established, we're only going to be experimenting and starting off with plants that are generally considered safe for everyone to use. Number 5, we're gonna buy organic herbs from a safe, well-trusted source. Number 6, we're going to start taking our herb. And we're going to start low and slow when we're first using herbs. We're going to use that herbal journal so that we can document our process, so that we can treat our future self with love and care and respect. We're going to realize that sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the benefits to show up, but we're going to be patient with the process, and we are going to slowly increase our dosage or our serving size after about a week if we have not hit our optimum level of benefit. I hope this video has helped you understand a little bit more fully how herbs can change your life. Step by step, with care, respect, and a little sense of adventure, we can start to integrate plants into our lives and get wonderful, wonderful benefits for symptoms that we've been dealing with, or just elevate our wellness in general. Thank you so much for taking this time to awaken with me. Thank you so much for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button, and please subscribe if you're interested in watching more videos on how to have your own herbal awakening.